Good morning and thanks for joining us again on Summit. It's Monday morning and it's a wet one at that here in Lagos. I don't know about where you're watching from, but it's a wet Monday morning here in Lagos. Thanks for joining us. I am Jumoke Michaels and the program is Summit. Banji, good morning. I hope you found it easy to get here.
No, we're getting used to it. Almost every Lagosian is familiar with the potholes, with the gridlock, and with the situation generally,
especially on the road. When it rains.
You know, recall that last week we had the head VIO, that's a inspection service here, and he told us to take it easy. The roads are bad, but the state government is not unaware of our plight, and they are trying to fix. Let's hope that in no time all the roads would have been fixed. Of course, we know that emergency has been declared.
I say a big amen to that.
Amen. My name is Banji Busari. I'm glad to be here. It's Monday morning in the city of Lagos, and we trying to do what we know how to do best. That's to bring Summit on your way, to update you information and educational in all aspects of life, particularly what's trending in the country.
Yeah, talking about what's trending in the country, this morning we are looking at education. And one of the stories on the headlines talks about ASU taking their grievances to the National Assembly. And they're talking about going on a strike again, you know, because the federal government has not been able to meet up with their demands. And this has been ongoing for so long. And then you expect that by now they would have come to agreement on how to take education forward in the country.
I would be like, it's not as if they've not reached agreements.
The implementation of
those
implementation.
I think from the reports that ASU has, usually makes available to us, the federal government most of the reneges on its promises, particularly on funding of the universities. And when you talk about funding, we're talking about quality. If universities, our educational system are not properly funded, Jumoke, you and I know the result and effect.
Of course.
And what we have all over the country are products of the badly run system of education that we have in this country. So ASU may be making a very good point. But Nigerians will ask, which one does the federal government listen to now? Is it NLC 30%? 30,000 minimum wage, or the demands by ASU? Why shouldn't all of them have been lumped together? So these are.
But I don't think ASU is about the demand. Is not about the welfare. I think it's more on infrastructure development, research funds and all that. You know, upgrading the standard of education in the universities is much more of what power with international standards, world best practices, you know, because even they know that the level of education in the country is still struggling to make impact.
People say it's comatose. There's a lot of hope. We believe there's hope because there are people who are passionate, who are committed to reviving it, making sure things work. So that's why we cannot lose hope in our education.
All right, so today on the program, we'll be taking a special focus on students who aspire to study medicine and engineering in the Nigerian universities or foreign universities. All right, so we have an educator who's joining us this morning. We already know him. He's someone who's been coming on the program, who'll be telling us a bit more about the opportunities that are bound for students who wants to study medicine and engineering, the challenges that this course of study has in the Nigerian university, and how they cope even after leaving the university. So that's what we'll be looking at this morning. So if you are a parent whose child aspires to study medicine or engineering courses, or you are a student yourself who is either already studying or aspiring to study medicine or engineering, this is a program you need to sit back and listen and watch and listen to what we have to say this morning. So we'll take a quick break. Yeah, so we'll take a quick break, and then when we return, we'll have our guest on the program today. Stay with us, don't go away, we'll be right back.
I just want your papers, please.
Sir.
Salary don't enter. Yes, so. And month I never even reach self. Na salary plenty, oh. No wonder I no gree collect roja from my hand. Shut up, sir. I'm here to bail my younger brother.
Happen.
With good laws,
proper funding,
Training.
and cooperation.
If it happen.
All right, thanks for still being there. The program is still Summit. And like I said during the introduction, today we are looking at university admission for medicine and engineering. And joining us, we have Dr. Peter Ogudoro. Like I said, he's not a new person on the program. Dr. Peter Ogudoro has a PhD in education, and he's an expert on career management. He's also the CEO, University Access Center. And he has over 3 decades of experience in helping young people resolve their career challenges. Dr. Peter, good morning and thanks for being with us this morning.
It's my pleasure to be here.
You're welcome.
It's always been a pleasure to visit you. I know the last time you came here, we discussed, that was when post-UTM had just been written, and we discussed the prospects of those who sat for it. Those who chose Unilag, all these first generation universities, many of them were unable to gain admissions at that time. Now, but the focus of today's edition is engineering and medicine. Now, what we have found out is that the worst hit in terms of failure to gain admission are students seeking admission to engineering,
medicine,
and engineering and medicine. They are the worst hit, they are the most affected. Only just about 2% of them get the desired courses and they get the desired universities. Why is this so? Why is this situation so?
Well, the demand for those courses is very high, and this is in the face of limited opportunities in our country for people to study medicine. Of course, you know that not every university in Nigeria offers medicine, and the few who offer medicine do not have the capacity in terms of manpower and equipment to be able to absorb as many as possible. So the average university that offers medicine may not take more than 100 in a whole year. And we are talking about hundreds of thousands of young people who want to study medicine, for example. So what you find at the end of the day is out of every 100 who aspire to get into Unilag, you may not get more than 2 or 3 who can eventually get in there.
2 or 3.
Yeah, and what makes it very interesting is the fact that these young people who are being rejected, about 98% of them on the general note, are also among the best graduating from the school, secondary schools they attended. So they are the ones who you see, who you call the ficos, you know, who you call the ones who don't joke with their studies, who have done the sciences and put all of their time into studies. And so they finish and they want to go to take the next step to get into university, and they don't get there because the opportunities are not there. But more fundamentally, you also discover that after writing JAMB for 4 or 5 times, sometimes 6, 7, before they seek admission into medicine, many of them still don't end up as medical doctors because they get into medical schools, not even medical school, they get into university to try and study medicine without a good foundation that will enable them benefit from training that can enable them to become doctors. So in the first year, about 20% of them are eliminated, and then you have about 80% transiting to the medical school proper. And by the time they get to the finish line, just about 40% are able to qualify as medical doctors. Most of them have dropped out completely. A good number will move into other related disciplines like anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, microbiology. So they take a single honor degree. And those were the things they should have done, you know, much earlier. But eventually you discover that after waiting for 6, 7 years before getting admission to go and study medicine, because the foundation is weak, they are not able to move to the next level. So the challenge is very huge. And if if you are a child of a lower class person, economically speaking, it's going to be very difficult for you to seek admission to get into medicine unless you're
exceptionally very brilliant.
Yeah, even if you are very brilliant, it may still not be easy, because you see, if you are, for example, Governor Saulu, and your child wants to study medicine in Lagos State, okay, in Lagos State University, it's going to be difficult for the child not to get in there, no matter what the score is. All right, and so you'll find that the people
is that not something different? Are you saying the system is compromised?
Yeah, definitely. We all know this is an open secret. So if your father is the vice chancellor of a university and you want to study medicine, there's no way you're not going to get in there to try and study medicine. If your father is the Senate president, if your father is the president of this country, or is very related to the president of this country, there's no way you're not going to get in there. So at the end of the day, by the time they share the opportunities are
we probably need to do a research, maybe both of us, to find out the students that are currently studying medicine.
Who are they?
What's their background?
I have already done the research. It's not
you have done it.
Yeah, of course, that's my field. I'm a researcher in the education industry. Okay? So the average child studying education, most of the time you discover that the dad is probably a professor of medicine, a medical doctor who runs his own hospital, okay, or medical director of a hospital somewhere. And the others who don't come from medicine-related backgrounds are children of parents who are very rich and who can use money to take them to where they want to be. Those who don't get in through JAMB, UTME, what they do is to try to get into diploma programs run by universities. Like UNILAG has a special diploma program, so they can take like 100, but at the end of the day, only about 10 will eventually make it to get into medicine. So you still get 90 rejected. But unfortunately, parents who don't have information, they don't realize this reality.
Probably believe the child did not study hard enough.
No, that's not the case, because most of these things are predetermined. No matter how hard you study, you can't change the scenario, because the number.
No, I mean the perception of the parents, whose children are unable to graduate to medicine after diploma. They probably assume that the child did not study hard enough.
Well, that would be unfortunate if that is their perception, because that would not be a fair way to evaluate the child's, hard work while he or she was there. Yeah, because you can't populate the medical school with only people coming through the diploma program, because JAMB is still insisting that the average person who wants to go to university must pass through UTME. So what the rich do is to try to use diploma programs, PhD degree programs, JUPEB and things like that, which are programs meant for the very rich. Those are so the rich have strategized to ensure that their children coming through the back door. So at the end of the day, only very few chances are available for those who actually merit. Who actually, well, the word may not necessarily be merit. Who parents do not have the means to put them through this other channel.
That's a very pathetic
what you have just in summary, what you have just said is that admissions are bought.
Yeah, definitely. Well, not necessarily. That may not be the best way to put it, because if you send your child for a diploma program, in science, and the child works very hard and makes the top 10% of that class, the child eventually gets into medicine. But that is the back door, because that is not UTME, university, unified tertiary matriculation examination, which is supposed to be the standard exam that lets children into the university. But the rich have discovered that that route is very difficult to break through. And so they have created a different route for themselves. So they create diploma programs, they create pre-degree programs, they create UPEP, they create IGMB. All these are programs that are meant for those who have the means to fund it. The lower class people don't have the means to go through these channels.
Okay, I used to know that in my days, our parents used to the only course they want their children to study is either engineering, medicine, architecture, you know, those kind of courses that supposedly prestigious. Yeah. You know, and our parents of today still like that. And then why is these peculiar courses, medicine, engineering, so popular?
Well, we must admit indeed that once you successfully go through medical studies, poverty is eliminated completely. That's the truth of the matter. The average medical doctor finds enough food to eat. The average medical doctor will be able to train his or her child in a private school. Okay, it may not be the top private school, but the average medical doctor will be able to put a child through, because they earn enough money. Minimum wage in Nigeria for a very long time was only 18,000 naira. The average doctor was earning up to 150,000. So you can see the difference. They earn minimum of 4 times what the average person in society earns. So they are generally above average in terms of remuneration, in terms of income. So if you become a medical doctor, automatically, in the context of our country, poverty is banished.
They probably don't even stay in the middle cadre. They belong to the upper echelon of the society.
No, they don't belong to the upper echelon. That's also a misconception, because when you are looking for the very rich, doctors don't come into the picture, because the average doctor is not very good at entrepreneurship. And it takes entrepreneurship for you to
except maybe a few of them.
Yeah, only a few of them eventually, not even up to 1%, manage to eventually set up their own hospitals. That's only the time you can begin to earn millions.
What about engineering?
Engineering is similarly affected, but engineering is even worse. For the average medical doctor, if you finish as a doctor, all of that turns to the quality, there will be a job waiting for you, either in the public sector or in the private sector. But engineering is very badly hit in our country, because after spending many years to secure admission into the university, eventually you get in there and you do all the hard work and you qualify and become a mechanical engineer, electrical, etc. engineer. What we find is that there's no job waiting for you when you graduate, because we haven't got factories here that can employ engineers. This is not a productive economy, okay? And we haven't got inventors, we haven't got systems that can make provisions for these people to come and exercise their skills. Again, the skills are not even there, because they are trained in universities where there are no laboratories to expose them to what will enable them to become very useful to employers. So at the end of the day, even when you are producing engineers in hundreds and thousands, you still discover that people like Dangote and several other people who manage to have some factories around here are bringing, all the engineers they need from outside the country. Okay, because the skills they are getting here is nothing to write about. So many of them are ending up as mathematics teachers in secondary schools, and that was the job they hated, which was why they entered into engineering. But eventually they see themselves compelled to end up as teachers, which is a very unpopular profession.
So I'm curious, those who are unable to secure admission based on these maybe obstacles and all that, what steps can they actually take to actually get out of this issue? I mean, quagmire.
Yeah, we have to understand that the competition is very stiff. We must face that reality. So if it is very stiff, it's not impossible to get in, but you have to do things that are unconventional. You have to take extraordinary steps to be able to get to where you're going to. Then taking the extraordinary step means recognizing how admissions are handled today. Some 20 years ago, it was just UTME you could write. Once you write it and you score from about 207 to moving up, all of that factors are called, you'll be admitted in, to study medicine and to study engineering. Today is no longer so. As we speak now, you can score 320, 330, you still don't get into the university to study medicine, because the rich have strategized and introduced 2 new elements into the process. So when they look at your JAMB UTME score, they now start asking you the question, can we see your school certificate? When they look at your certificate and you have only credits in all the 6 major and relevant subjects, they say, well, you can't come in because you made only credits. We will prefer people who've made A's in all their science subjects. After that, they conduct another exam for you, which is done by the university, what you now call post-UTME. And again, the children of the rich are the ones who have the means and the access to facilities that will enable them to perform. So,
but you have not addressed what are the options open.
Yeah, this indirectly is giving you the options. So, for you to get into medicine, it's not in the year you want to write JAMB that you start preparing to get into medicine. You start preparing a child from SS1, for example, so that the child finishes secondary school with A1 in all the relevant science subjects, in chemistry and physics, in mathematics and English language. And then once that is guaranteed, then
that's a state of utopia.
Yeah. Well, it's not a state of utopia. It's done, and when parents seek counseling, we give them ideas on how to guarantee that. It can be guaranteed. That's no doubt.
All right, let's just hold it there.
Yeah.
We'll take a quick break now. And then when we return, we'll continue this discussion. But don't forget that if you have a contribution on this subject of discussion, you can send your SMS to the number we'll put on the screen. Only SMS, please. Don't call us. We'll only take your messages on SMS. You have questions for Dr. Peter Ogudoro. We'll take that after this break. Please stay with us.
I just want the papers, please.
Sir.
Salary don't enter. Yes, so. And month never even reach self. Na salary plenty, oh. No wonder I no gree collect Roger from my hand. Shut up, sir. I'm here to bail my younger brother.
Happen.
With good laws,
proper funding,
Training.
and cooperation.
If it happen.
Welcome back. All right, now before we went on that break, Dr. Peter, you were saying something about preparing a child who aspires to study medicine or engineering before they finish secondary school.
That's correct.
All right, so you could explain further how that plays out.
Yeah, so the point is the average parent waits until, for example, those who want to get into university in September of 2020. What parents do is to wait until March of 2020. And they start thinking of how to get the child into that place. It's too late at that point. If you want the child to get into medicine in September 2020, the time to get the child ready is now. Okay? And what do? You recognize those 3 elements I have talked about. Make sure that the child finishes secondary school with excellent grades. A's in all the science subjects, chemistry, physics, mathematics, biology, and of course, as well as in English language. That is critical. That's step 1. 2, you have to also realize that the UTME that they write is significantly higher in terms of complexity compared to the curriculum for secondary school. So when a child finishes secondary school and uses the knowledge of secondary school education to go and write UTME, the person doesn't cope with the exam. So the person scores 180, 230, 240. Those kinds of scores will not give you what you're looking for. For you to be sure you are getting in for medicine, you need to have the A's in the science subjects. You need to have minimum of 280 in UTME, and then you need to score about 80% again in the post-UTME. And all those things are possibilities if you can, find the humility to ask questions and say, how do I go about that? And that's one of the things that I came back to the country to do, to try to help parents be proactively, involved in their children's education, and rather than just sit down there and pray and say, I know my God will do it. Every other person is praying and hoping that God will do it for them. But we know that a UNILAG doesn't have more than 100 chances in a year for medicine. So everybody is praying, my God will do it. Who will God not?
You are concentrating more on medicine. You're not talking too much about engineering.
Engineering is similarly affected. Both of them are in the same shoes, really. Okay. You know, the chances are as bad in terms of, you know, number of people who are getting in. Okay, whether it's engineering or medicine. So those challenges are there. Again, you know, engineering is also about the sciences, chemistry, physics, you know, mathematics, especially those subjects. So if you want your child to go in for engineering, the child must finish with A's in those key subjects: English language, mathematics, physics, and chemistry. If he makes biology, all well and good, because the universities will be interested about 5 subjects when they start configuring things.
So is gone are those days when your child gets credits. Yeah. You rejoice. Yes, yeah. We are talking about A's.
Yeah,
now.
It's A's now, because the population has you know, more than quadrupled, really. In those days, not many people were. Now we are talking about 2 million young people who want to get into university, and we don't have vacancies for up to 500,000. And so you have about 1.5 million who will be rejected. And then as we progress into the future, the figure keeps increasing, because this is a country that is adding about 6 million people to the population annually because of our high population growth rate. That's the entire population. In fact, it's more than the population of Norway, it's more than the population of Finland. That's what we produce in a whole year. So with that kind of figure, the challenge will continue to be there. And you remember, you know, some time ago we talked about, you know, my son who was fortunate to have a father who is in career management.
That's marvelous.
Yeah, that's marvelous. Okay, so we recognized this early, and we are doing the same thing for his younger brother. So you can systematically program your child to succeed at the time you want the child to succeed and get into the next level. Okay, at the age of 17, he finished his secondary school. In fact, he didn't wait till September. By August of the year he finished secondary school, he got into university in the US.
That's marvelous. There on the screen.
Okay, in the US. Among his lecturers in the US, and that's because I took control of it, and we got involved, and he got it on scholarship, really, absolutely free. What, 80 million naira? Okay, that's
the question an average parent would like to ask is, if this man can do it for his own son, why can't he do it for others?
I'm doing it for several other people.
Doing it for several
I'm doing it for several other people, because at the moment I have set up what we call University Access Center, which is preparing young people who are desiring to study these key courses we're talking about, medicine and engineering, and want to study it, whether it's in Nigerian universities or abroad, especially those who are seeking scholarships. But then you have to take some steps here and make some little investment to be able to save the money in the future. But that is not the kind of way Nigerians look at life. They want to wait until the problem arises before they start solving it. That's not how to be wise.
University Access Center.
Yes.
That's the platform. That's a kind of that's the organization that actually oversees, ensures that university education, that's admission, is actually making. It's concretized. It's guaranteed. Once your child passes through that process, if it's medicine you want, by September next year, the child gets in for medicine. If it's engineering, you want any aspect of engineering, by September next year, the child gets in for engineering. That is guaranteed. There's no doubt about it. But you have to come now. We are screening between now and Wednesday for parents who want to benefit from this. 28, 29, 30.
And 30. We are screening.
This month.
Yeah, we are going to take about 50 for a start, and then walk those ones through. And all of them by September next year are getting into either Nigerian university or overseas universities, depending on what the child wants. But we have to get involved by way of managing those careers in a very professional, systematic, and scientific way. And you get what you want all the time.
All right, so in the process of having these children nurtured, because I want to call it nurture, because that's what you want to do, preparing them towards the exams next year. Now, in the process of nurturing these children, if you realize that there are some amongst them that really do not meet up intellectually with this course,
the courses they want to study.
How do you intend to handle
that's why we do screening. So the parents are meeting me between now and Wednesday with their children, okay? For us to speak with the children and speak with the parents and look at the totality of the child's circumstances and be sure that this child who wants to study medicine actually has the intellectual tools.
It's actually what the child wants to do, because you know parents.
Yeah, because as a career expert, what I find in the counseling clinic is that many young people who want to study medicine, by the time you start probing, you discover that what they have in their head is something they think is medicine that will solve, but the problems they want to solve are not necessarily problems that medicine will solve. Some of them say, for example, they want to eliminate diseases. You don't need to study medicine to eliminate diseases. A microbiologist will do that better. A biochemist will do that better. Okay, and the average doctor who stops at general practice level, the MBBS and NCD, and doesn't go for advanced training through residency, doesn't really have the level of knowledge and expertise we think they have. They are just a bit of this, a bit of that. It's when you go to residency that you can now specialize and become an expert in pediatrics, in dentistry, etc., etc. Okay, so we look at all of that and get children to face from day one where their talents are directing them to. And we do it in the presence of their parents, so that everybody is on the same page. Because many people go and finish even medicine and discover that they have done the wrong thing because
so
their
the
parents
problem is the career management.
There's no career management system at all.
There's no career management, and
yes.
what this effort, as commendable as it is,
yes.
It may not solve Nigerian problem. That is looking at our population. That's from your own point of view. What can we actually do to actually correct this anomaly of bad career management that's
decisions
prevalent in our educational system?
Well, I have to make the point that I'm not the president of Nigeria. I'm also not the Minister of Education. I have got expertise that can enable me to play those roles, but I'm not playing those roles at the moment. So I'm not deceiving myself into thinking that I am going to solve Nigeria's problems overnight. So what I am able to do is to help parents who are willing.
Send messages, please.
Okay. So what I'm happy and able to do is to focus on parents who are desperately seeking opportunities for their children to go and get the education they need to become medical doctors and to become engineers. I can do that one. If the Nigerian government is interested, they can, by way of a telephone call, I'll be happy to do that job for free for the country. Because we can get every child who wants to go to university into the university, whether it's in Nigeria or abroad, if they are willing to listen to people like me. I can do that job absolutely for free. But I haven't got the opportunity. And I'm not going to go to Abuja and start beating everybody to say, I want to see Buhari, because the system here doesn't work like that. Every time people see me on air and I talk about things like that, they say, well, you have so much expertise that you have traveled all over the world, you studied, you have a PhD in it, got from the best universities around the world, Oxford, Cambridge, Reading, and gone to all over the place. Why are people like you not running the education system? I can't answer that question. Only the people who are the political captains here can answer that. But I can help parents who are willing to solve the problems of their own children, because that's where we are in Nigeria. For now, solve your child's problem, solve your own family problem. At another level, we can meet and start discussing how to solve Nigeria's problem. But gradually, as we solve our individual problems, it might, percolate and eventually enable us to solve the problem of the entire.
Talking specifically now, please let the parents who are watching know what category that is in the bracket of students that are qualified for this 3-day window.
Within the next 3 days, I'm interested in students who are currently in the SS3, who will be writing May-June 2020 WAEC and NECO senior school certificate exam. I'm interested in those ones. And those who have finished secondary school and are aspiring to go and study medicine or engineering, who haven't been able to secure admission into those places. Or those who are already in the university, maybe studying chemistry or biochemistry or microbiology, but what they really want to study is medicine or engineering. Those kinds of people should come. And you don't keep procrastinating, because I'm not government. I have opportunity, space, and capacity to help about 50 young people, and I'm going to screen them. Everybody will not pass through the process. But if you come, even if you don't get taken, I will give you an idea regarding how else you can manage your case, even if this particular platform we have doesn't help you. So that's the way it's going to work. So SS3 who are currently in secondary school finishing, or even SS2 whose parents are desperately, trying to ensure that when they finish secondary school, they are not going to run into this problem. They can also come for counseling, because we can start them on the weekend program that will complement what their secondary schools are doing, so that when they finish, parents will not be running helter-skelter, spending money, and then going to prayer houses to seek things that will never happen.
Your line is not on the screen, but we have a line that will be displayed very soon. That's where you can also make contributions, ask questions, and Dr. Ogudoro here would actually respond to those questions. The number will soon be displayed on the screen where you can actually make contributions, but SMS only. Please take note, don't call, SMS only. Now, you want to tell them, yes, they say you can call. Where would they come? Where do you want parents to come, or what lines would they call to?
Yeah,
they need to actually
Monday,
your website and all that.
Yeah, Monday to Friday, I'm available for this screening, especially between now and Wednesday at University Access Center at number 17, number 17, Tony Street, Ikeja, Lagos. The Toyin Street is a very popular street around here. It's at the intersection where you have Okwebi and Allen. So that's the place. It's very easy. Okada can take you there, Marwa can take you there. Then if you're driving your own car, it's very easy to navigate to. It's the building immediately after Polaris Bank. If you are coming from Okwebi end, then meet the building before Polaris Bank if you are coming from Maryland end. You know, we're talking about Maryland, and that's Ibodo area, General Hospital area. So it's very easy to locate. Just come to the top floor, and you'll be attended to. All right. So that's between today and Wednesday. Between today and Wednesday. What time? Well, on a typical day, they come in from 9 o'clock. I'll be in the office. Okay. Yeah, and the office is open till 5 p.m. All right. Yeah.
Okay. Still talking about children or students. Let me see who are eligible for this screening and this opportunity. Yeah. Would you say that if there are some of them who come and they probably did not make A's, yeah, they are going to retake? Yeah, the people work and yeah, to be able to meet up with the standard, yeah, you are. I'm not expecting people who are ready. I'm expecting people who don't have what they need. No, but you invited people who have written, who could not get admission this 2019. Yeah. And aspire to get admission in 2020. Yes. But you said that there are people who should have A's in WAEC. What if they don't have A's? Yeah, that's exactly what I have just finished saying. Okay. So the people I'm expecting are people who don't have A's. Okay. I'm expecting people who didn't score 300 in JAM, who probably scored 180 something, 200 and something, didn't hit the bar. Those who didn't just get what they are looking for, those are the people. I'm a problem solver in this context. So I'm looking for people who have failed, who have not got what they're looking for. Not that they failed, they didn't. Yeah, no, fail is in quotes because in the context of what we're discussing, if you score 70% in UTME in physics, chemistry, and biology, which are the major subjects for people trying to get into medicine, and then physics, chemistry, and mathematics for people trying to get into engineering. If you score 70% in UTME today, the person has failed because the people they are competing with are scoring 98. Some of them are getting perfect scores of 100. Okay, so you need a score that will take you to where you're going to. So we have enough time. That's the reason why they have to come in now. I'm interested in people who want to get in next year. If you have missed it this year, don't sit down there and be wasting money trying to look for somebody in the university to bribe. It's not going to work because they have finished admission process for this year. Stop wasting your time. Prepare for next year in a systematic way, and then you'll be able to get to the finish line and you'll be happy. Not only getting into university, also being able to finish the study. Because as I told you earlier, people spend 3, 4, 5 years trying to get into university to study medicine or engineering. Eventually they get there, they are not even able to qualify as medical doctors or as engineers because the course is so tasking and so rigorous that because they don't have the foundation that enables them to benefit from the studies, they drop out and go into things that eventually, which they didn't bargain for at the end of the day. So a lot of young people are depressed and they are studying things that they are not interested in, and that's not the kind of society you want to build. A society where most people are doing jobs that they are unhappy doing, and they are not paid well for those kinds of jobs. So study what you want to study because it is very possible for you to study what you want to study if you follow a systematic procedure. Don't just sit down there and pray without taking action. Faith without works is dead. So stand up right now and seek counsel that will enable you to make the grades, to make the scores, and to follow appropriate routes. And even in terms of choice of university, all of those things matter because you find most parents in Lagos, everybody is insisting my child must go to Unilag. It doesn't have to be so, okay? Because Unilag also may not be the best university when you look at even equipment and manpower situation. But why are we all insisting? Because people are afraid to, move out of their comfort zones. Your child did primary, kindergarten, secondary, and then you want university. Even NYC, they want them to. So how are they going to become globally competitive if they can't step out of their comfort zone? So we need to reprogram our minds, get a new mindset, and go for paradigm-shift, and we'll be able to get what we want because it is very possible. Systematically, you get to the finish line, and you are in there, and you finish and become a medical doctor, become an engineer.
Yeah, thank you. Prior to this program, the current program, we used to actually discuss the window open to SS1 to SS3 of this program. Yes. Now, is that a workshop or that special program?
Yeah, the platform is still there, it's still there.
That's SS1 to SS3.
So once you get into senior secondary school,
that's the University Access Center.
University Access Center. Once you get into senior secondary school, don't wait until you get to SS3. Okay, we can help those in SS3, but it's easier when we start managing that matter from your first year in senior secondary school. And you will also know, by the time you get to SS2, it will be obvious to you that any exam you write, you'll finish well. You come out with distinctions. And it's also not only exams that you have to pass. We program you for leadership, we program you for community service, and those two elements are very critical for those who want to study abroad, because universities in America and Britain are not looking for people who have only good grades and don't show interest in how to run society successfully. They're looking for people who have leadership potentials, and those ones carry about 70% of what they're looking for. It's only in Nigeria that grades, constitute 100% of everything. In proper societies, grades constitute just about 30%. Okay, your leadership potential and your community service record make up the rest of the things that universities are looking for. But that may be a discussion for another day. For today, parents have the chance to give their children what they want. Because if your child wants to become a medical doctor, and we screen the child, and the child truly belongs to medicine, the child will get in there in the year the child needs to get in there.
But can we take the argument or the discussion? Can we take it further? Yeah. If we're actually concentrating on those who are SS3 or SS2 now, can't we actually bring it down to maybe GS classes? Because if the journey is going to take 6 years university, you don't wait till the final year before you determine or you make up your mind the course you want to study. Is it possible we start earlier?
We should actually start at kindergarten from the time the child is only 2 months old. That's when you start managing the career. The reason why I'm not worrying about those areas now is because I'm not government. I haven't got the money to help every parent to manage the child's career from kindergarten, because these parents don't understand what we're talking about. Invite them for seminars and they won't come. Invite them to educate them. They think they know how to bring up children. Okay, many of the young people who are going through these kinds of process and having these barriers, obstacles in their way, it's just because of poor parenting, where children can't even talk at the family level. Evidence we have, those of us who do education and career management, evidence we have tells us that the children who do very well even in academics are children whose parents find time for them at dinner time. They sit down together at the dining table. They are eating and they are discussing. Now, what you find in Nigeria is that even the school system teaches you not to talk when eating. Okay, and those things are born out of ignorance. Because if you have traveled widely, at conferences, that's when you do networking. So you talk. It's only when you have food in your mouth that you shouldn't talk. But we ban children from talking at all from beginning to the end of dinner, from beginning to the end of breakfast, from beginning to the end of lunch. So parents don't get to understand what's going on in school. They don't ask their children questions. Men like you, all you do is you pay school fees, you never attend PTA meeting, you never make contributions, you never ask to know whether these children are learning what you are paying school fees for. And that's not how to run the system. So you need to get involved, and we get parents to work with us. The parents whose children I'm working with now, I compare them. If you are not going to be available, then don't bring your child to me. And if you don't send children to me, again, we must make that point. Children coming to me must come with their parents, especially the fathers. Because sometimes what you find is that mothers are so passionate about their children doing well in life, and fathers just go looking for money. And they never create time to go and get involved in the conversation that will give their children this admission they're working so hard to get money for. All right? So we say mothers should compel their husbands to bring the children with them.
Because
so
most of the time, mothers even can't make decisions. They still have to refer back to the father.
When they get to the father who was not there when we had the career management session, we rubbish everything and say, what are you talking about? And he's using the university education he had 40 years ago to judge the way the world is run today.
So let's have some of
Permit me to just take 1 or 2 messages here.
Yeah.
This one is from Ogudoro Tolani. Say, good morning, I've just joined you on the program. I want to ask Dr. Ogudoro whether an applicant would have to pay for the screening.
No, the screening is absolutely free. Nobody charges you a dime for the screening. So you just bring the child, and we give you the counseling and give you general advice, and then point to where the resources are, and then you take the resources that reflect your own capability. That's it. But the screening is free.
There's another one. So, please, sir, if a child has reached 500 level, can he move to abroad for further study or transfer to another university in Nigeria?
Yeah, definitely. You can do a lot of things are possible. It depends on. So we need to meet the child, we need to meet the student and look at the person's profile, look at the person's grades, look at the person's potentials, leadership ability, career, community service records and things like that. put all kinds of factors into consideration in making the advice. But we can't deal with individual cases in this kind of forum. They have to come and get free counsel.
Allow me to take this one too. What exactly do you offer to ensure the success of the students? Chimdi is my name.
Yeah, what exactly we offer is first career management. You have to get to understand the child's potentials, know where the opportunities are, point the child to where those opportunities are, and then if the child doesn't have great opportunity to acquire skills in chemistry, in physics and biology, taught by postgraduates, teachers who are specially trained in education, then we provide that service if those parents are interested. All those opportunities are there. So if the background is weak, we point you to where you can find resources, whether within Lagos or outside Lagos. It doesn't matter where you are. You can give me a call and we can signpost you to where those resources are. So it's comprehensive service.
Okay. Good morning, sir. What of those that have national diploma, that's ND, seeking for direct entry?
Yes, they are also welcome. So you also come, we look at your national diploma. What grade did you make? Did you even study what you should have studied? If you have made a mistake, we give you an idea on how to get redirected, and then you pursue the calling, that will enable you to find fulfillment in life. So the fact that you have studied something does not mean you have to stay with it, because if you have made a mistake in your trust occur because your parents insisted, then we have to get you to work with your parents to change direction.
What of a candidate, another person? What of a candidate who is an art student, scored 240 in JAM and 74% in her post-JAM? She wants to study mass communication, and they are telling her to go for English language.
Yeah, the person should come for counseling. That counseling is available for free. It doesn't, even those who want to study law, they are all welcome. We can give that service for free. So the reason why we are focusing on science and medicine and engineering is because we want to produce inventors for the country, so that we can begin to solve our problem as a people. But our service is not limited only to people who do sciences. Even those in the arts and commercial can also come. We are also in a position to help them. If you want law, if you want business administration, if you want accountancy, it's guaranteed. By next year, you get in for what you want.
Okay. Spend the next 60 seconds to talk about your address, your telephone line, the website through which you can be reached.
Right, it's very easy. The office is University Access Center, 17 Toyin Street, Ikeja. 17 Toyin Street, Ikeja. 17 Toyin Street is just beside Allen Avenue, and then you have Ukwebi there. And then the telephone number, I understand, is on the screen at the moment, 0080232 49654. So you can call me anytime from 12:30 today, and we can have, if you don't know how to get there, we can give you further direction. You can also come immediately, but don't assume that you're going to solve all your problems on phone. We need to see the child face to face and be sure that we're dealing with somebody who has a problem, and then give
all right, and also